Success loves silence, not because it is secretive or mysterious, but because it needs time and space to grow. Success is like a seed, quietly starting its journey beneath the soil. It does not announce its presence to the world, nor does it demand attention or recognition. It simply works persistently until one day it rises up, strong and undeniable for all to see. Yet so many of us feel the urge to tell the world what we're doing, what we plan to do, and how we're going to achieve it. Why is that? Perhaps it's the need for validation or the longing for praise. Maybe it's the excitement of saying, "Look at me, I'm on the path to success." But here's the issue. The more you talk about your plans, the less energy you have to execute them. It's a strange paradox, isn't it? Oversharing can drain the motivation you need to succeed. Over the years in business and personal growth, I've seen this happen time and time again. People with grand ideas and noble ambitions, ideas that could transform their lives, end up sabotaging their own plans. How? By telling too many people too soon. They expose their dreams to the cold winds of doubt, criticism, and distraction. Before they realize it, the fire within them has faded. Today, I want to share with you the philosophy of keeping your plans to yourself. Not because of secrecy, but because of wisdom. We will explore how to develop a mindset that values action over words, focus over flashiness, and results over recognition. Because in the end, what truly matters is not what you say you will do, but what you actually accomplish. Keeping your plans to yourself can be a source of incredible power. There is a delicate relationship between intention and action. Think about it. Every time you share your intentions, goals, dreams, or plans with others, you release a part of that energy. You give away a piece of the fire that drives your actions. In many cases, that fire is better off kept within you, smoldering quietly in the stillness of your mind, rather than being exposed to the world too soon. Here's a simple reason why. When you tell people what you're going to do, you create an illusion of progress. You say, "I'm going to start a new business," or "I'm going to lose 20 pounds," and people around you nod, smile, and even applaud you. That feels great, doesn't it? The recognition, the praise. But here's the risk. Your mind might mistake that recognition for accomplishment. You haven't actually done anything yet, but you've experienced a taste of reward. What happens next? The urgency to act diminishes, the fire cools, and the dream that once seemed so full of potential starts to feel like something already completed in your mind. Then you fall into a comfortable state, and the real work, the hard work to turn that dream into reality, is postponed. This is how dreams die in the cradle of well-intentioned plans. Some people may say, "Doesn't sharing your plans make you more accountable?" Accountability has its value, but only when you share with the right people at the right time. Not everyone will understand your plan. Some may question your motives or doubt your abilities. They may not say it out loud, but their skepticism will linger like a shadow over your ambition. If you're not careful, that shadow may quietly creep into your thoughts. Suddenly, you begin to doubt yourself, wondering if they're right, if your idea is really as good as you thought it was. I'm not saying you should never share your ideas. The key is to share them selectively, cautiously, and only when the time is right. Protect your vision in its early stages, just as a gardener protects a young plant from frost. Share your plans with those who will nurture them, not those who will trample on them. Seek out mentors or close friends, those who genuinely want to see you succeed. Even then, keep the details to a minimum. Don't turn your idea into a performance before it's had a chance to grow. And consider this, the element of surprise. There's a special power in doing what no one expects and letting the results speak for themselves. Imagine this. You work quietly for months, maybe even years, without a word to anyone except those you trust most. Then, one day, you reveal it to the world. A finished product, a goal achieved, a shining accomplishment. The impact of what you've done is far greater than anything you could have said about it, any detailed plan you could have shared. People are amazed at what you've accomplished because it appeared unexpectedly. It's a reminder that action always speaks louder than words. I once knew a young man full of ideas and passion, eager to start his own business. He couldn't wait to share his plans with everyone. Whenever the opportunity arose, he would enthusiastically talk about what he was going to do, how successful he would be, and how his life would change. At first, people listened politely, but over time their interest waned and doubt began to creep in. Why? Because months passed and nothing happened. The more he talked, the less others believed. Eventually, he stopped believing in himself. On the other hand, I knew another person, a farmer from the Midwest. He had a vision to turn his family's small farm into a thriving business. But instead of talking about it, he quietly got to work. He read books, studied successful farmers, and applied new techniques without anyone knowing. He didn't announce his plans, he let the results speak for themselves. When harvest time came, people were amazed by the superior quality and quantity of his crops. They asked how he did it. He just smiled and replied, "By working when no one was looking." It's not about secrecy, but strategy, because your dream deserves to be protected, and your actions will always speak louder than your words. How many times have you shared a plan or goal with someone only to feel the motivation slip away afterward? How many times have you let someone else's opinion steer you off your path? These are crucial questions because they reveal how much power you've given away by speaking too soon. The good news is, you can take that power back. You can choose to focus on action, protect your dream, and let success speak for itself. The world is filled with noise, opinions, distractions, unwanted advice. When you freely share your dream, you invite that noise into your life. You open the door to criticism, skepticism, and even envy. These factors can derail even the best laid plans. Think about it. When you tell someone about your big idea, how do they typically respond? How many are truly enthusiastic and supportive? Sometimes they are, but more often their reaction is one of caution, skepticism, or subtle doubt. They might say, "Are you sure this is a good idea? Sounds risky. I knew someone who tried that, but they failed." Those seemingly harmless comments can plant seeds of doubt in your mind. And doubt is dangerous. It grows quickly, suffocating the roots of your ambition. It's not just the skeptics you have to worry about. You also face envy, people who resent your ambition because it reminds them of what they haven't achieved. Even well-meaning mentors can confuse you with conflicting advice, pulling your focus away from your original vision. Here's why discretion is powerful. When you keep your plans to yourself, you protect your focus, creating a quiet space where ideas can grow. It's like building a greenhouse for your dreams, where they thrive under the right conditions until they are strong enough to face the challenges outside. The most important thing is motivation. Motivation is the forward momentum you create when you take consistent, purposeful action towards your goal. And this is the heart of it all. Motivation grows in silence. When you focus on the work instead of talking about it, you build a rhythm. Every small step you take strengthens the next one, and before you know it, you've made significant progress. But when you start talking about your plans too soon, you disrupt that rhythm. You shift attention from action to explanation, from doing to justifying. Every moment you spend explaining yourself is a moment you're not moving forward. It's like driving while constantly stopping to tell people where you're going. You lose momentum, and worse, you lose the feeling of progress. Purpose comes from maintaining motion. I want to share another story with you, one that illustrates the power of motivation and discretion. A friend of mine decided to write a book. It was his lifelong dream, and he was determined to make it a reality. Instead of announcing his plan to the world, he quietly set a goal to write 500 words every day, day after day, until the book was finished. He didn't tell anyone what he was doing, not even his closest friends. He just worked day in and day out, in silence. Months later, he shared his progress with a small circle of trusted individuals. Their reaction, absolute admiration. They were amazed at what he had accomplished, not just because the book was great, but because he had done it without seeking attention or recognition. When the book was published, it was a success, not because of any grand announcements, but because the work spoke for itself. Now, I want to tell you about another friend of mine, someone who also has a passion for writing. Instead of getting started, he spent months talking about his plans. He'd call for updates, share outlines, and ask for opinions on every little detail. The more he talked, the less he wrote, and eventually, the project faded away. Why? Because he poured all his energy into seeking approval rather than generating momentum. There's a powerful lesson in these two stories. Action breeds confidence, while excessive talking breeds hesitation. When you act continuously, even if it's just in small steps, you prove to yourself that you're capable. You build a track record, a sense of accomplishment that drives your progress forward. But when you talk too much, you get stuck in a world of possibilities. What could happen, what might happen, but you never cross the bridge into reality. Here's the thing, some people worry that keeping their plans a secret will make them seem distant or aloof. But here's the truth. Secrecy isn't about shutting people out. It's about protecting your focus. It's the awareness that your dreams are precious, and not everyone deserves a spot on your journey. Think of it this way. When you plant a garden, you don't invite the whole neighborhood to walk over the soil before the seeds have sprouted. You protect the ground, water it carefully, and wait until the first shoots appear. Only then do you invite others to admire the fruits of your labor. This principle applies to your goals. By keeping them private, you're not being secretive. You're being strategic. You're creating space to grow, learn, and adapt without the pressure of outside expectations. When the time comes to share your success, it will be that much more powerful because it's backed by real results. So here's a challenge for you. Next time you set a goal, resist the urge to announce it to the world. Instead, channel that energy into action. Write it down, plan it out, and take the first step, quietly, intentionally, and with full focus. Remember, the goal isn't to impress others with your intentions. It's to impress yourself with what you've accomplished. There is something profoundly liberating about moving in silence. It frees you from the weight of external expectations and allows you to operate on your own terms. When you announce your plans to the world, you place yourself under the spotlight. Suddenly, everyone is watching, waiting, and possibly even judging you. That pressure can feel suffocating, especially in the early stages of a project when nothing is certain and everything is in flux. You see, success is rarely a straight line. It's a journey of trial and error, of taking 2 steps forward and 1 step back. When you're in the public eye, those failures can feel amplified. Every misstep becomes a point of potential criticism, and every delay becomes a source of scrutiny. But when you keep your plans in secrecy, you give yourself the freedom to fail quietly. You can learn from your mistakes without bearing the weight of external opinions. That's why discretion is not just a strategy, it's also a gift you give to yourself. It's a way of creating a safe space where you can experiment, grow, and refine your ideas without distractions. The beauty of it is this: when you're not seeking approval or validation, you connect more deeply with your own instincts. You start trusting yourself more and relying on your own judgment rather than the opinions of others. I know what you're thinking. Is feedback really that important? Don't I need others' input to improve my ideas? The answer is yes. Feedback is invaluable, but only when it comes at the right time and from the right people. Not everyone is capable of offering constructive feedback, and not every stage of your journey is the right time to seek it. When you're just starting out, when your vision is still taking shape, it's best to focus on your work. But when you've made progress and built something tangible, that's the moment to invite feedback from those you trust and respect. I once worked with an exceptionally talented man who had a remarkable ability to spot opportunity. He could see potential where others only saw obstacles. But he had one critical weakness. He couldn't stop talking about his ideas. Every time he had a new thought, he was eager to share it with anyone willing to listen. What happened? More often than not, others would act on his ideas before he even had the chance to bring them to life. By revealing his plans too early, he lost his edge. Comparing this to another entrepreneur I know, someone who is quiet and humble, his approach stands in stark contrast. He rarely speaks about what he's doing. No fanfare, no bragging. But there's one thing he does extraordinarily well: execution. While others are caught up in talking, he's busy building. And when his work is revealed, it's always impressive, well thought out, refined, and ready for the world to see. He doesn't need to announce his intentions because his results speak louder than any words ever could. They carry more power, more weight. This leads us to an important principle. Results are your best advertisement. When you achieve something remarkable, people will notice without you having to say a word. Your success will naturally attract attention, and that attention will hold more meaning than anything you could generate by talking too soon about your plans. Think of it like a ripple effect. Your actions send out waves that reach people in ways words never can. But there's another reason to keep your plans to yourself, a reason that's often overlooked: the power of focus. When you share your plans with others, you don't just expend energy, you invite distractions. People will ask questions, offer suggestions, and share their own ideas. This can pull you in many different directions. Before you even realize it, you've lost sight of your original vision. Focus is one of the most precious resources you have. It allows you to direct your energy to a single point, cutting through the noise and making real progress. The best way to protect your focus is to limit the number of people who have access to your plans. The fewer voices in your ear, the easier it is to stay on course. Apply this principle to your life. Imagine starting a new project, a business, a creative endeavor, or a personal goal without sharing it with anyone. Picture yourself working quietly, persistently, without seeking validation or approval? What could you achieve in that quiet space? How far could you go without the weight of others' expectations? This is the essence of what we're talking about today. The freedom to work your way, the power to act instead of talk, and the wisdom to protect your dreams until they're ready to be shared. This isn't about keeping secrets or being isolated. It's about being intentional. Your energy, focus, and motivation are far too valuable to waste on meaningless chatter. When it's time to reveal what you've created, when the results are ready for the world to see, you'll realize that your success carries weight, a strength that words alone can't convey. You'll feel a deep sense of satisfaction, knowing that you haven't just talked about your dreams, you've made them real. The idea of keeping your plans to yourself isn't about withholding or hiding them, but about understanding the value of energy and focus. It's about protecting the fragile beginnings of your dreams, nurturing them quietly until they're strong enough to stand on their own. It's about recognizing that action speaks louder than words, and results will echo far beyond any statement you could make. When you choose to keep your plans to yourself, you're making a statement, not to the world, but to yourself. You're saying, I believe in my ability to make this happen. I don't need applause to start, and I don't need permission to chase my goals. This kind of confidence is rare, yet incredibly powerful. It gives you the freedom to act without fear, to learn from mistakes without judgment, and to grow at your own pace. And here's the beautiful part. When you succeed, you'll inspire others, not with what you say you'll do, but with what you've actually done. Your actions become a beacon, a reminder that real progress comes from focus, discipline, and quiet determination. You'll show others that it's not about loudly proclaiming your goals, but about the way you relentlessly pursue them. So here's my challenge to you. Next time you set a goal, don't rush to announce it to the world. Instead, write it down, plan it out, and get to work. Let your actions speak for themselves, and let the results be your proof. Trust that when the time is right, the world will take notice. And when they do, it will be because you've earned it. Remember, success doesn't need to shout. It doesn't need the spotlight or a grand stage. It grows quietly, steadily, in those quiet moments when no one's watching. So protect your dreams, nurture your focus, and let your actions speak for you. That's the path to true success, and it's a path worth walking. Before we wrap up today's message, I want to ask you, what have you learned from this video? Take a moment to reflect on the lessons we've just shared. The power of focus, the value of results over words, and the importance of nurturing your dreams in silence before sharing them with the world. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Leave a comment below this video to share what you've learned and how you plan to apply it to your everyday life. Your feedback may just inspire someone else on their journey. So don't hesitate to share. If you found this video helpful, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more valuable content like this. Thank you for watching. And remember, true success doesn't come from talking about your dreams. It comes from taking action and letting the results speak for themselves. Keep moving forward, and I'll see you in the next video.